with just this entire line, which extends all the way back through really parts of West Tennessee at this point. As this line keeps moving to the east, we're going to see, just like with this storm in Benton County, where that severe thunderstorm warning has been issued until 11:45, that it's entering a more energy-rich environment. So these storms are getting some power as they come through our area. Look at this line that extends really from the northeast all the way back to the Midwest, even some snow up near Kansas City. But we're focused on that severe weather threat that we're focusing on really for our entire day today. Let's go back in, Melanie, to that tornado warning that's getting into Logan County, Kentucky right now, just to the west of Franklin. This is the area we really want to be watching. If we could zoom in a little bit tighter so we can get that street view again, maybe some of the smaller towns that are within there. So Cave Springs, Ferguson, it's right over top of us right now. Moving off to the east, there's Oakville, as well as Lills Road. We're going near Franklin Road as well. That rotation detector still continues to show that tight rotation in this thunderstorm. It's got that spin that we see, enough to give it a radar-indicated tornado warning. It looks like our debris detector, though, really isn't showing all that much as far as signs of this may be lofting some debris in the air. What we are looking at, though, is where that rotation is. So a tornado warning for Logan County, Kentucky. This goes until when again, Melanie? Can you click on it so we can see what time?
Yeah, 11:45.
11:45 is when that goes until. And this was that storm that was in Todd County as well. It sort of jumped into Logan County in a very quick, 1 or 2 minutes. And now I'm even starting to look down near Clarksville. That second severe thunderstorm warning is starting to show some pretty nasty signs as well, that it's got a little punch behind it. So everybody needs to be weather ready today. These storms are going to have heavier rainfall, the potential for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, maybe even some small hail. But I think the threat for damaging wind, really with any thunderstorm, is going to be the main threat for today, as well as, obviously any tornado warning that was issued. But that line of storms is just going to be able to keep its energy and keep moving to the east, Melanie, pretty much all day today. So areas out ahead of all of this, areas near Bowling Green, Portland, Gallatin, Hendersonville, Nashville, Lebanon. I know we're getting a little light rain now, but that main line is going to come through later on, Melanie, and that's going to have a good punch with it.
Yeah, and you know what? On top of these tornado warnings, severe thunderstorm warnings, we're also dealing with some flooding concerns, too. I want to turn on our 24-hour rainfall total because really just over the last little bit, we have seen a lot of rainfall here. And I'm sorry, I'm trying to read our chat right now. And it looks like maybe another new tornado warning just issued now, too.
I think it's for the storm just south.
Yep.
Just south. It's in Todd County, Kentucky.
Yeah, so there we go. Once again, Todd County. This is what we were mentioning, folks. These are popping up very quickly and then breaking apart very quickly as well. So we're going to see these come and go all day today. This is a day you really need to stay weather aware because these pop up and spin up very quickly and they get out of here very quickly. And it's one after another. And it looks like we even maybe see some rotation down there in Benton County, too. We'll keep our eye on that one. But really quickly, before we get to that, I do want to show you these rainfall totals because really over the last 24 hours, we're talking over 6 inches of rain in many spots, including Murray, Kentucky, just north of Hopkinsville, over 4.5 inches there. Really throughout southern Kentucky, where you've had already some flooding issues, you're going to get more rain today. So that's why that flood watch is in effect until 9 o'clock tonight. It's really important to just stay weather aware, especially in a situation like this. I want to quickly get down to this little severe thunderstorm warning we're watching down here in Benton County because this is getting some good shape to it. Definitely trying to hook out right here. And there's definitely some rotation with that one as well. And this is going to be out in Benton County. Severe thunderstorm warning going until 11:45. And they've just extended it there into Humphreys County to include places like Waverly until noon now. And there are those red and green colors you see together there. That is definitely indicating some rotation. Even seeing a little bit on our debris detector, those kind of bright green colors you're seeing there, that indicates that we could maybe be seeing something spinning up within this rotation. We'll keep our eye on it for sure.
Yeah, I'll say this. It's got some good rotation to it, so something's trying to work its way together there, but nothing from the National Weather Service yet, so we'll see what happens. But either way, that storm's going to have 60-mile-per-hour winds, Melanie, heavy rain. That rain core in there looks pretty nasty.
Yeah, and now getting into Houston and Humphreys County. Now, this one is not tornadic, at least for just yet. We are seeing somewhat of a rotation. We'll wait for another radar scan or two, but right now the main focus as far as a tornado threat. Oh, here we go. Big hook echo right here.
Yeah.
Let's take a look.
Just south of Russellville.
I'm going to turn on the the radar for them out in Paducah, and you can see that there. That's going to go to 1145, but that one was really defined there on the OHX radar. You can really see that. That hook is exactly what we're looking for. So if you live right over Ellis Road, Nashville Street, Oakdale Drive, Orndorff Mill Road, if you live at any of those roads, they sound familiar to you, you definitely need to be in your safe place right now, because this one is definitely showing some rotation.
And yeah, when you sort of see, you know, that classic hook that we were just taking a look at, I mean, that's indication that this storm is definitely rotating. It's definitely spinning. You can see some of those little wind returns that we're looking at. So this is something called a gate-to-gate shear. It's a fancy name. All it means is that we're looking for, you know, wind going one way, wind going another way. That's why we have these sort of red and green returns. So you have the red returns going away from the radar, green ones going toward the radar. What that's doing for us is actually showing us where this storm's rotation is, and that's where we can pinpoint sort of where that tornado warning is sitting right now. So that's why we have that tornado warning that is still continuing right now. This is for Logan and now getting into Simpson County, Kentucky, just into, looks like, the northwestern portions of Simpson County. But if you are in the path of this storm, it means business. You need to get into your safe place immediately at this point. We're getting a very well-defined hook at this point, just from both radar systems here. It looks like they're even starting to narrow down that window with that new tornado warning, or they continued it. What they did here was they just sort of shrunk it down so we can get that center of rotation. So if you are in the path of this storm, you need to listen to this. Turn your volume up. If you don't have a weather radio that you can take in a closet or a bathroom with you, you can always download our News 4 app, and you can get our severe weather coverage right there when you get into your safe place. But for right now, you can turn up the volume on your TV. Auburn, we're talking 1146, Woodburn at 1157. I believe this severe thunderstorm warning, or this tornado warning rather, goes until 1145. But this storm is definitely showing some signs that it's not weakening. As a matter of fact, it's gaining strength and it's gaining structure behind it. Where Melanie is circling right now, just south of Russellville, that is a well-defined hook. It kind of looks like a comma, Melanie, but that's actually showing us where this is getting wrapped around and sort of where the rotation is in this storm. So, Melanie, I'll let you do the sort of the street view here. Franklin Road, just north of Ellis Road as well. If you are in the path of this storm, I mean, it's right on top of us right now. But areas to the east, there's Corinth, if I'm pronouncing that wrong, forgive me, but just south of Dennis as well. All of these areas, Melanie, need to be ready for this storm to come through.
Yeah, and next up in line would be areas like Auburn. I mean, this is textbook hook echo here. That's what we call it. And this is very indicative of a tornado, or at least a radar indicated one here. And so this is one that's pretty classic, pretty basic here. This is where you really need to be in your safe space. And if you are not, be sure to go ahead and get into the lowest interior room of your house. It could be some kind of closet. It could be a bathroom. It could be any place you have without any windows or touching any outside walls. You need to be on the lowest level of your home. Grab something to protect yourself with in case there is a tornado that causes some debris. Maybe it could tear a roof off of a house. You want to make sure you protect your head with a pillow, blanket, anything you can grab. And you definitely do not want to be inside of a car or a mobile home right now. That's the last place you want to be, especially in something like this. I'm going to turn on our storm threats and just kind of get an idea. These are kind of a rough idea, but a lot of times they're fairly accurate. We're looking at some hail with this, about 70-mile-per-hour winds with this as well. So even if it is rotation, it could be a weak tornado. Even if it's straight line winds, this does a lot of damage. These are the kind of wind gusts that can blow over a tree. It can bring power lines down. It can do damage to your home. On top of that, we have the hail coming down too. And in some places, it's radar indicated, which sometimes it's a little bit embellished, but we do have some places indicating that we could have an 1.5 inch size hail coming down at the moment too. Again, those are rough estimates, but they do a pretty good job because it's a little bit higher off in the air, a little bit higher aloft than actually on the ground, but a really good indication there. I want to quickly go back to our radar view. Again, we have this active tornado warning. This is out in Logan and Simpson County. If you can see this one back here, I'm gonna circle it in white so you can make it a little bit easier to see. Back here toward Guthrie, we had this tornado warning in Todd County. You can see a little bit of that red polygon there. That is now expired. That one is done. You still have the heavy rain coming down, but as far as the tornado threat, if you're in Todd County, you can come out of your safe place. If you are in Simpson or Logan County, stay in your safe place. We still have this one going until 11:45, and very classic shear here on this one too.
Yeah, there's definitely been a lot within that storm, and if we can switch back real quick to TrueView 1, I believe Chris is there. I just want to show that we have that tornado warning. We also have the tornado watch that we've been paying attention to, obviously, for the last couple of hours. But that tornado watch goes until 6 o'clock, and that's pretty much for, the entire mid-state right now. So for those of us that, may not be seeing anything right now, some of us are even seeing the sun that's out. It's not going to be that way all day, guys. These storms are going to come through. They're going to hit these areas that have been dry all day. They've had sunshine that charges up the atmosphere. The atmosphere really has an opportunity to get itself going again, and then you get what we're seeing on our rotation detector, Melanie. So if we can go back, Chris, to links so we can get a look at the rotation detector.
Yeah, and you can see right now the rotation is starting to kind of come out of where the space, the polygon is indicating where this tornado warning is, and this is what's happening. They're moving so quickly. These are very quick moving storms, and also, as I mentioned earlier, this rotation, it spins up very fast and it breaks apart very fast too. So I wouldn't be surprised if they go ahead and move this along too to the next county, which would head in closer toward Allen County, which it looks like it already includes just a little portion of that there.
Yeah, because I don't think this storm is weakening anytime soon.
No, it looks pretty strong here from what we can see, and we'll turn back on the radar. I'm switching between our Nashville radar and the Hopkinsville and Paducah radars here, because that'll show you kind of the difference. Some are a little bit stronger than others, just depending on where the radars are in relation to where the storm is, but both of these look really good, and that is that classic hook echo right there. And we'll zoom back down in here and get a couple more of these street names. If you're out near Corinth, this is Corinth, Kentucky, Dennis, Russellville, seeing some of this rain. You're not really so much directly in that main tornado path. It's going to be just a little bit southeast of you. But if you live maybe over Franklin Road, Friendship Road's heading right for you, Carter Road, also Montgomery Road, this is heading right over you. If those street names sound familiar, if you know someone that lives there, go ahead and give them a call. This is a holiday. People aren't really paying attention to the news, paying attention to their phones. Maybe you're out with family or friends. It's a day that you want to stay weather aware. This is going to be the trend all day long. We've got potentially severe storms moving in all throughout this afternoon and through this evening. This is all ahead of our next system that comes through, our next front. And it's so warm outside now too, Stephanie. That's one thing we want to mention. You came in from outside and said it feels tropical outside.
It does. It's January 1st, 2022. It's a new year, but the weather has not really sort of gotten the picture there. What we're kind of looking at is the fact that these storms are just, in these 80-degree, almost 80-degree areas, and that's sort of been our issue so far today, is that it's been entering all this warm air, and there's a lot of moisture too. It does feel tropical. It sort of feels like it's a completely different month of the year, Melanie.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll keep an eye on this for you. This goes a little bit long, and look, they actually have just moved it on, just like we said, moved it on to the next counties over. So now includes Logan, Simpson, and Warren County. This goes until 12:15 now. And again, this was a radar-indicated tornado located about 10 miles east of Russellville. Moving northeast now at 60 miles per hour, so it's actually speeding up a good bit too. I'm going to turn back on the radar just so we can see what it looks like here. See if it still has that real hook shape to it. And it kind of does. It kind of does here as it's heading closer into Auburn. If you live near Auburn, you definitely want to be in your safe spot right now. Highway 68. If you live near there, this is coming right over you. Even if it's not the rotation, it's going to be some very intense rain, some thunder. We have been seeing a lot of lightning. I'm not seeing a ton of lightning with these couple of storms that have popped up. In fact, no lightning with this one here. Wind is pretty intense right now, too. The wind gusts with these storms are getting over 40 miles an hour, so it's going to be pretty intense as we go throughout the afternoon, too. In fact, a wind advisory in effect through tonight as well because of these storms and because what we'll see with them. Very quickly, I want to zoom out to our entire viewing area because we've got more than just what's happening right here with our tornado warning. We have even more storms that are developing off to our west and really even down to the south a little bit too, south of I-40, getting closer there in toward Linden. We got a couple of thunderstorms starting to fire up. They're starting to fire up in Davidson County right now as well. And I'll turn on our real-time radar so you can see that here. But in the meantime, a lot of these are producing severe thunderstorm warnings, and they have the potential of getting some of that rotation, and that's exactly what we're seeing out west of us. So out near Benton, Houston, and Humphreys County, where I just showed you earlier, where we have those severe thunderstorm warnings, just a little while longer to go on this one. This one in Benton County, just a couple more minutes. It expires at 11:45, but this one closer toward Erin, just north of Waverly, this goes until noon today. And this is right over Highway 13. And we've seen a little bit of rotation with this one off and on. We'll take a look at this now just to see if we're seeing anything breaking apart a good bit, but maybe a little bit there close toward Waverly.
I just think not enough to.
Yeah, pretty broad.
Yeah.
But still, nonetheless, very, very windy with these as well.
Yeah, and these storms, you know, as they have been moving into Middle Tennessee and Southern Kentucky, that's where we've sort of been seeing the warnings come from. So what's been happening is these storms, the cold front is way back to our west. And what ends up happening here is that as these storms come through and they get in these, you know, rich environments, these sort of energy-rich environments, we get these severe thunderstorm warnings and eventually these tornado warnings as well. So here's a look at that rotation detector again. Here's Auburn. You know, I hate to say this, but Bowling Green, we are in this cone here for this tornado warning, as we are in Woodburn as well. There's 65, 234, all areas that are off to the north and east of this, 31 west. If you are in the path of this storm, there's Route 73. You need to be getting into your safe space immediately. Here's what we're talking about. It's this line of storms, mainly this first line, Melanie. Looks like this second one that's back in Arkansas shouldn't be too much of an issue for us. It's this first wave here that's entering all of this area near Nashville that just hasn't had any rainfall. We've actually had the sunshine. Take a step outside, obviously not during these storms, but it's been very warm the entire time, and you can see these little cells, Melanie, that are also trying to pop up within all of this. It's this main line, though, that's been really trying to pack a punch, and it's been firing off those severe thunderstorm warnings and some of those tornado warnings as well.
Yeah, definitely. And Steph, these aren't really just your typical thunderstorms. These are pretty intense. We're getting a lot of extremely heavy rain, hail indicated with a lot of these as well. And earlier we were seeing a lot of thunder and lightning. Lightning's let up a good bit on these that we're seeing right now out to the west of us. But right over I-40, got a lot of cells popping up right here now. We see one right north of Lobelville, just over the Tennessee River here too. Looks like some pretty intense rain coming down right near Brusseltown, Cherokee Heights, out near Blue Sky. You're seeing this too. Highway 13 getting really just dumped on there right around Buffalo. Over near Bucksnort, we got Spot and Salt Lick really getting pounded with that rain at the moment. I want to go up a little bit north of here, back closer toward Humphreys and Houston County, where we have that severe thunderstorm warning, and still not really seeing much rotation with this anymore. We were earlier, but not anymore, which is good. So it's still just a severe thunderstorm warning, nothing tornadic, at least for right now. But this is producing a lot of heavy rain, probably going to be hearing a lot of the wind out there as well, and probably a little bit of hail too. And nonetheless, really the rain is going to be something that we're going to deal with all day today too. Our last 24-hour rain totals, especially up in southern Kentucky, have been pretty intense. We've already had some areas that have seen about 6 inches or so of rain in the last 24 hours. 6.7 inches just north of Hopkinsville, a little bit closer toward Russellville, over 6 inches there. Getting down closer to Montgomery County, over 2 inches. And that goes for areas like Franklin, Kentucky as well. So a lot of rain falling here in a short amount of time, and we're going to get more as the day goes on. So flooding is also going to be a concern too. And that's why we have that flood watch that is in effect until I believe 9 o'clock tonight. So pretty late. Looks like another severe thunderstorm warning just issued here. This one's going to be a little bit further out toward West Tennessee, including parts of Madison County, but heading closer, like right near Hendersonville. But getting into areas like Lexington, Decaturville, Parsons also included in this new severe thunderstorm warning that goes until 12:30. And guys, these are going to be popping up all throughout the day today. So I really don't be surprised if you see one, hear one throughout the day. But the main concern with these is the possibility of these spin-up tornadoes, which is exactly what we're seeing in southern Kentucky.
I think that they added a second warning for a second cell just south. You can sort of see it where that first one was, a little farther back to the west, getting into Todd. I believe that's Logan County, Kentucky, just west of Franklin. You can see the rotation in there.
Yeah, so we have, what, 2 going on now at once. And, you know, it's weakening, that it spins up again. It weakens, it spins up. These are what all these storms are doing. This has been the trend of them the last little bit. There's the new radar scan. You can see it moving just a little bit, but this is now getting up closer into Bowling Green as well. So that's why they've issued now 2 separate tornado warnings. This first one here until 12:15, and the second one also 12:15. But it looks like maybe two separate little systems here that are spinning up. So that's why they've done that. I'm going to turn on that Hopkinsville radar here so we can see, and you can see it kind of hooking right now, right near Adairville, right near Auburn. See, it's kind of hooking out like this, and that's what we're looking for with that rotation right here in Adairsville. This is what they're looking at. This is why they issued that second tornado warning. You can see that here. So we'll put a latest track on this, and we'll keep that moving to the east. And these are moving fast, about 50 to 60 miles per hour. It looks like this one moving 65 miles an hour to the northeast. So I'll put a track on this one so you can see the latest and see if you're in the path of this. You need to get to your safe space pretty quickly. We'll put that to the northeast. So if you live closer toward Adairville, 1154, excuse me, is when you need to be in your safe place. Providence at 1203. Franklin, 1209, Woodburn, 1213, and Temperance, 1217 is where you need to be in your spot as well, because these storms are quickly moving, and as I mentioned, they are going to be spinning up and weakening off and on all day. But these are going, at least for the next little while longer, until 12:15.
Yeah, and it's these storms that have just been spinning up constantly, and that's why, you know, it looks like that cell originally that was 1 split into 2 and caused that severe thunderstorm warning to go to the tornado warning, and then went from there. There's the debris detector. We haven't seen a whole lot as far as debris is concerned, but with the rotation detector, Melanie, we've definitely seen the spin-ups.
Yeah, and you can see that here, and really seeing it really well here, closer toward Woodburn. I'll zoom in here closer towards some street names. Nashville Road, it's about to head, there it goes, heading right over you right now at that latest radar scan. Wren Road, out near the community of Rich Pond. Old Zion Church Road. If any of those sound familiar to you, if you know someone that lives there, this is where we are seeing some of that rotation right now. Weakening here at this latest scan, but up closer toward Bowling Green, it gets a little bit more intense. But this is why they keep canceling and then reissuing these tornado warnings. I think this is maybe the 3rd or 4th one now they've done in the same exact spot, because it just keeps popping up and keeps weakening again. So again, this one is for Logan, Simpson, and Warren counties in Kentucky. This goes until 12:15. A thunderstorm that is probably producing a tornado, or at least likely, 11 miles south of Russellville. And they're fast. This one here I just tracked for you, moving northeast at 65 miles an hour. Real quickly, I do just want to let you know, if you are in the path of one of these storms, if you are in the path of a tornado, which there's a good likelihood that you might be today with all the severe weather that we are expecting, not just in Kentucky, but all across the mid-state, you need to know where to go if you are in the path of one. If you hear sirens outside, if you get the alert on your phone from the News 4 app, you need to make sure that you are in the lowest interior room of your house. You want to protect your head from any kind of flying debris. Grab a pillow, grab blankets. Maybe if your kid got a bicycle for Christmas, grab that helmet and put it on their head, because if you are in the event of seeing a tornado, which unusual for December. We're now in January, but you know, last month was a very strange month for us, really not just in Tennessee, but all across the middle states here near Kentucky, near Arkansas, the Midwest. A lot of tornadoes that were able to spin up and very unusual. You want to also be sure to abandon a car or a mobile home. If you maybe know someone who lives near here and they do live in a mobile home, they need to get to a community tornado shelter, or I know it sounds scary and crazy, but out of your home and into a ditch is the safest place you can be in a situation like this. So we'll quickly go back to the radar. I'm going to zoom out to a wider view so you can see what's going on here. Turning on our forewarned real-time radar. We've had a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings pop up over the last 30 minutes or so. You can still see one back here in Houston and Humphreys County. This one goes just a little bit longer. We've got about 8 more minutes to go on this one until noon. And then this new one back here, this is a little bit further out toward West Tennessee, but if you live a little bit closer there toward Madison County, Chester, Decatur County, Henderson County, this one goes until 12:30. And you can see these little cells. This is kind of what most of them start up as, these little cells that are developing here, and these actually are producing some lightning. The last couple ones we've seen have not been producing as much lightning. You might be hearing the thunder outside of your house right now. Maybe you're hosting a New Year's Day party. Make sure you and all your guests know what to do and where to go if one of these storms were to turn severe or even produce a tornado. You want to make sure everyone is on the same page. Make sure you have a way of getting weather alerts. If you are watching this now, even if it's not affecting you at the moment, even if you are living in a place where it's completely dry and maybe sunny right now, download the News 4 app to your phone. It is such a handy tool to have. It is really such a great app. You can get our forewarned real-time radar right at the palm of your hand. You can also get any kind of alerts, and you can customize those for your county. Say if you live in Davidson County, you don't want to get all the other counties around you, but maybe you have a family member who lives out in Humphreys County and you want to get weather alerts for them. You can customize it to do that. It's a really great tool to have. And looks like now they've just canceled that tornado warning for Logan and Simpson County, so that is good news. They are going to let the warning expire for Humphreys and Houston County, those severe thunderstorm warnings. So looks like we are now, let me just double check, make sure we're now in the clear as far as tornado warnings.
Yeah, and it does look like that. The one thing I want to talk about with these storms is that even though these warnings expire, Melanie, what does tend to happen is they tend to pulsate a little bit. And what we mean by that, they strengthen, they weaken. So these warnings can be allowed to expire, but it's not going to take all that much for them to maybe re-intensify with these storms. So here's the main two that we're watching right now with those tornado warnings on them. By the way, heading into an area that's already got a flood warning on it as well. So that's going to be an issue as heavier rainfall moves in. So flooding is going to be a threat for us today, as well as the potential for damaging and gusty winds, and obviously not ruling out the chance for that brief spin-up tornado as well. Here is that line. We are sort of in the clear in areas like Hopkinsville, Oak Grove right now. Even I'd say around Clarksville, we're getting the rain, but that severe threat is now shifting to the east. But areas that are out ahead of this, we still need to get through Hendersonville, Nashville, there's Smyrna, Murfreesboro, Columbia, down through Lawrenceburg as well. We have these individual cells popping up ahead of the main line, but it's the main line in itself that we'll be watching through the second part of our day today. And then even into parts of the Cumberland Plateau, we'll kind of see how far east these storms can hold their intensity for. But in the far eastern Cumberland Plateau, that's sort of where we don't have that tornado watch right now. It's areas that are right along 65 where that severe thunderstorm watch, or tornado watch, I should say, is in effect through around 6 o'clock this evening, Melanie.
Yeah, that's right. Well, in the meantime, while the tornado warnings are in the clear, we will probably have to break back in a little bit later, but I know a lot of folks want to watch the Rose Parade, so we'll get back to that for now, but we will probably be breaking in all throughout the afternoon. Just please do yourself a favor, download that News 4 app so you can get alerts to where you live.
We now return to regular programming. Get more updates at WSMV.com and on the WSMV app.
Musician and dancer Timothy Fletcher.